And welcome back to the Pinnacle Cup here, getting into our final match of the day between Spirit and Fiend. A match that we could very easily sort of go to a very basic prediction on the basis of where these teams stand in the world of Counter-Strike, but a match that definitely has a lot of weight behind it and a lot of caveats as well at this particular stage. Dwayne, as we were heading towards the break, we got informed about the interesting circumstances that Spirit are now going to have to play under here in this particular matchup because they're missing a man of their roster.
Yeah, it does change things slightly. Not a massive amount. It is only one player, but still, this is a Spirit that maybe isn't as strong as what they could be. Patsy going to be standing in for Dexter, the main AWPer, and just in terms of roles, doesn't really help that that you lose a main AWPer. But hey, this is a good opportunity for Patsy to show what he's got to offer. At least he's played in the main team before.
Look, it doesn't help the fact that they're not changing out the roles. It doesn't help the fact they're changing out Dexter, man. That guy is absolutely nuts at times, and we know how insane he can be. And for them to lose him in this match, I think that's a massive, massive blow to the Spirit side. I think that they're really going to have a hard time about this because of the nature of who they're losing in this matchup. And we know that to inform people of the reason why he's not standing in is because he's not feeling well today. So it's a situation that's really come at the huge loss.
I don't think so, to be honest. Like, Spirit are one of those teams that, because of their experience at the Tier 1 level, even if you've got some of these circumstances where one of your players has to sub out, you've got so many players behind you that should be able to pick up the pace, should be able to sort of work your way in. SDY, he might be the one to try and pick up the main AWP. We know that he picks it up as a little bit hybrid from time to time, but this is a Tier 1 opposition, and coming into this event, they've got to be favourites to win the whole thing.
Absolutely, they just came back from IEM Cologne. I mean, that's just the setup to how far this team are up in terms of the ladder. They're probably I still want to say the highest ranked team possibly in this whole tournament, given their experience at the high end level. And they played in always A tier and S tier events, from Blast Showdown to DreamHack Masters, all sorts of big events for them in their run in the whole Counter-Strike space. They are a Tier 1 team definitively versus Fiend, who they themselves have only had really one opportunity to compete at an S tier event. And I mean, to jump over to the Fiend side, we talked about how great this team had been in the Tier 2 space, but their main opportunity in Tier 1 actually came to a head and an end at the hands of Spirit. The last best of 3 that was played between these two teams was the elimination game in DreamHack Masters Spring, and knowing that was the only event that Fiend have ever played in the EPT, and knowing this is the top highest event they've ever played in terms of its tier count, they probably want a bit of revenge here in this match.
Yeah, they do, and these guys are no slouches. They hit hard. They're a very, very strong and capable team, Fiend, and for them and Skate, it just seems like the two Bulgarian teams are on a huge rise in the last 3-4 months or so, and even when you look at the Fiend that played up in that DreamHack event up against the Spirit side, Mar was still on the lineup, and I don't even think Fiend were really that impressive back then. They were kind of like, okay, yeah, they came through some of the open quals, they beat some decent teams, but now they've actually sedimented themselves as a top 30 team in the world. And this is a very, very different looking lineup than the last time they played up against one another.
Absolutely, and as a result, it really comes into question of whether or not we can really see a replicant series in that context. Because as you mentioned, it's a very different player to have in place here for the Fiend camp. So I look forward to seeing how well they'll be able to adjust against that. But in terms of the story itself, I really like the idea that they'll be hunting for revenge, because Fiend are one of those teams that are on the cusp of cracking that glass ceiling, and they almost could have done it right there in DreamHack. So the fact they didn't get a deeper run, I think, is probably a little bit of resentment to the hands of the Spirit side. Would you agree?
Not really. For a lot of these teams, you don't really care who you're playing. All you want to do is have deep runs. All you want to do is win championships. And if Spirit's the one that knocks you out in an event, yeah, maybe you might have a little bit behind yourself. Oh, let's get the one up of them next time. But you go into any game prepping the same, whether it's Spirit, whether it's Forza, whether it's Cascade. So for Fiend, if they come in with the right mindset of this is just another team, let's play our own game, that's how I want it to be.
I want to see whether they can do that mentality and hold their own calmness, I guess, in particular with the map vetoes here, Dwayne. The last time these two teams played, it was Mirage, Overpass, and Nuke that was played out. Mirage was the the win of the Fiend side. The other two were won by the likes of Spirit, and we can already see Fiend picking into Mirage. That makes a lot of sense to me, I think. Dust 2 coming out for Spirit. What do you make of that?
Yeah, Dust 2 is a standard pick to come through from Spirit. It's a good map for them. They pick it very often. Ancient coming through, this is a little bit of a surprise, because we actually know Fiend are a great Ancient team. They've never picked it, but they are very strong on Ancient. So in terms of Spirit towards the back end of this veto, I don't know why they banned Overpass, to be honest. I think that they would have had a better chance on Overpass and Ancient. This actually looks really good for Fiend.
It's a bit debatable, really, though, because as you mentioned, it's a great map for the Fiend side. I mean, they've played it 6 times ever since its introduction to the pool, and they've had some moments where they've beaten out, like Copenhagen Flames and Extremums, for example. But Spirit, they themselves had a moment in IEM Cologne where this map actually was played in against the Heroic side. I mean, Heroic are a top 4 team in the world. Ultimately, I think they were the team that actually eliminated them in the group stage at the first round, if memory serves me correctly. And that went all the way to a 22-19 overtime. Like, they really took Heroic to the distance on this map. So I think there might be a bit more to it than you might initially expect. I mean, I do agree with you that Overpass probably would have been the more standard and sensible choice, considering they've got a 70% win rate on it across 10 maps. But I look at Ancient, I think this might be a bit more of an interesting curveball for the likes of Spirit.
Nah, I think it's a mistake. I just think I'm going to be blunt about it. I don't know why they've done this. Overpass gets picked in best of threes. They love this map. And yeah, it's only played 10 times, but it's comfortable. Why are you playing a risk against a Fiend team that upset? We know these tier 2 teams upset in these kind of competitions. Anytime we come forward and the tier 1 invites come through, just look at how so many of these Pinnacle Cups, we've seen the high-end teams just get eliminated in the last cup and here today. So I don't know, knowing that you've got a stand-in and you don't have Dexter, I think this is a risk that's too far for a quarterfinal game.
Well, we're going to see how well Patsy will fit into that. Obviously, we know he's playing with the Spirit Academy side, and we don't have stats on how, good they've been on Ancient as of late, because they haven't really been playing it that much. But I do sort of see where the thinking is and the logic is there from the likes of Spirit. I don't know if this veto was done before or after they learned that Dexter was going to be involved before or after they learned that Dexter wasn't going to be involved in this matchup. That might be a factor to consider in this one. But I feel like Ancient might not be as bad as you might be making it out to be, Dwayne. Like, again, Overpass would have been the better option. I don't disagree with that. But I look towards Ancient, seeing how limited results we have in the pool, and really, it is a bit of a curveball that you can't 100% sort of pinpoint, I don't think. Again, I see there's potential in it, but I think you are right. I do think that the Fiend might have had a bit more of a better veto in this.
Yeah, and again, there's not that many teams in Tier 2 that are playing a lot of Ancient, but Fiend are one of them. And yeah, it's not being picked, but it's coming through a lot from opposition's map picks and map 3 series. And even for Fiend, they've had a really good turnaround in this event so far. They got into the Swiss round of 4, had a couple of shaky results, that lost to Sinners, lost to Harvu, 2-0 Double Pony, 2-0 MIBR, and then they 2-0'd Young Ninjas yesterday in the playoff round 1 game. And ever since then, they've just looked unstoppable.
Absolutely, they have, and I've been a big fan of a lot of the runs that these tier 2 teams have made, but the main issue to take away from this map pool is the fact that, look, no matter what map you're taking a look at in this series, the difference is that, Fiend are playing against tier 2 opposition, Spirit are playing against tier 1 opposition. Like, even the likes of Mirage, which we know being a ridiculously strong map for Fiend, we still got wins for the Spirit side above the likes of Entropic and Na'Vi and Gambit, and close maps against teams like Vitality, for example, in G2, which they went to overtime against. And G2 are in the running to be champions of IEM Cologne. The same could be said for even Na'Vi, and they beat them in regulation. So these are some very, very big teams that Spirit are playing against. And you look at that, you look at the maps as a result, and you always have that little caveat of, like, even though these maps are strong for Fiend, in terms of the caliber of players, it's stronger for the likes of Spirit.
Yeah, another thing you got to remember, though, is playstyles are very different in Tier 2 than Tier 1. Yeah, there is context to the matter. They are playing stronger opposition, but I'm a little bit flustered in this one, Jay. And for me, I'm going 2-1 up for the Fiend side. I just think they've got the upset potential in this series.
You do love a good upset, don't you, Dwight? Well, Pinnacle have this one as dead set even, and I guess that in a sense you can sort of see why with the substitution of Patsy. But for me, I still feel like Spirit can be able to hold their own. I still want to see Spirit taking this one. I think they will lose out on Mirage, but map 2, map 3, that should be all theirs. Pistol rounds going live with Chopper, immediately kicking things off by dealing with Victor, kicking off with the opening kill. Dreamer can turn it back in against the likes of Patsy, at least get it to a 4 versus 4, and Magic and Dreamer go back and forth in a 3-on-3 scenario. 2 players down at dark, and Magix lands all the headshots. SDY cleans up the last, and Spirit will take a confident pistol.
That was very clean coming out for Spirit. We see the way in which they get slightly aggressive out towards ramp, take that early contact in. It seems like Dreamer has found a great way to open up the bomb site, but instead it's just the 2 players towards under Balk, and Magix in particular, that really delivers really great start to come through for Spirit.
Yeah, nicely done. Fiend forced back in, of course, for the second round at Eagles. Kevlar helmets, lack of utility, of course, but still have a lot of firepower to dish out some damage to the likes of the Spirit squad. Incendiaries and initially Red Star held back with his Deagle will be playing into the B position over to the truck angle, expecting there to be a CT face. So far, nothing's given.
Dream is probably one of the guys we've got to highlight here for the Fiend side. Has been very, very impressive so far in this stage of the tournament. A nice little adjustment coming through to Patsy and only getting taken down to 20 points of health.
A great start for Dreamer. And Victor finds Mir. Now things are going to get interesting. 5 versus 3. We're trying to extend, trying to grab Red Star here with the bomb on his back and gets that frag involved as SDY deals with Bubble as well outside towards Connector. Doubles up onto Dreamer. Takes some damage through the danger boxes, but the T's now an entity and Magix can get his SMG kill in to farm up some of the money, recover some of the lost investment here for the CT side. Grab that rifle as well, make sure it stays in for the next round. 2-0 start for Spirit.
You've got to imagine, too, for Spirit looking to bounce back after their early exit in the semi-finals of the last Pinnacle Cup. We know that Fiend didn't play in the last one, but Spirit did. They played in Omega in the quarters. They got invited straight away, and they lost to Gambit in that semi-final game. So looking at the competition in comparison to the two cups, it definitely feels like, for Spirit at least, they're so much more of a favourite this time around than maybe what they were in the last cup.
Yeah, again, as I mentioned before, probably one of the higher ranked teams or the highest ranked team in this tournament overall. Spirit definitely looking like they are geared in for a decent showing in the playoffs. They've found the start here in this matchup. Kill in on Red Star. This round maintains control as Mir doubles up onto Bubble. It's a 5 versus 3 scenario.
And I'll be very keen to see how SDY performs with the AWP. We know that for him, he's a little bit more of a hybrid. I can't remember the last time I ever saw him have to primary AWP. It'd have to be years back, maybe when we had some transitional periods where there wasn't an AWP on the Spirit side. But he's always been that guy to pick it up from time to time. And now, in these sort of circumstances, he's got to try and deliver with it, but feels like he doesn't even need it in this round.
Yeah, the M4's having a clean house here, and Mir getting a triple nice and easy for the kill counts. And as you mentioned before during the pre-game, having Dagster out just cost them a massive role. And he's got such big shoes to fill, knowing the idea that you're replacing a major primary AWPer here for Team Spirit. So let's see what SDY can do. It's rifles out for the T sideline, AWPs in AKs. First gun round out here for Fiend.
And this is where they've got to set the pace, because so far Spirit have been looking real sharp and they've been looking really coordinated on this City side. They've got to answer back, and it might just be a simple set piece on A.
You have a decent idea to get yourself momentum going, back to basics, and Spirit will try to respond to that in kind. Smoke down the right-hand side of the ramp arches. They're going to walk ahead, go dry facing into this. Okay. SDY's AWP held back behind danger. One player in dark, and SDY is watching the ramp control. Got to be wary of that connected position, but now he's got teammates there to try and support it. The AWP shot connects some damage. Flick on towards Red Star. That's a fantastic start for him on the AWP, but Hard gets that trade immediately. Dreamer caught off, backs turned towards the FAMAS here towards Dark. Chopper gets a trade involved, looks for a secondary kill. Mir's at the bail him out. Han's low HP, and Mir's M4 comes up clean. Dreamer 1v3. He gets that first kill, but no more than that, and the coordination from Spirit is still there despite being with a stand-in.
Yeah, Mir has looked incredible. Just the way that he's just recovering that whole situation, just taking pressure away from Chopper to stay alive. And I look at the whole situation, out of any team in the playoffs, I think Mir is the scariest out of any of them. He's an absolute killer at the tier 1 level. He's the star player to come out for Spirit. And if they can set himself up like he has done so far in terms of multi-fragging potentials and round-winning plays, this could be Spirit really starting to find some movement on City side.
Held to position with the M4s. Patsy facing in, taps forward with the Tech 9, a bubble. Magix with the smoke at the ready. We'll try to put this up towards the apartments to suppress them for the time being. Fiend, they're going to push ahead of it, charge into that B site, get a kill off for it. Mir and Magix do get 2 on the turnaround, and more line up for the M4A1S. Triple up for Mir, 2 HP for him, Hubble, in 1 versus 4.
Just hoping for a little bit further damage. Really hope Fiend take a tactical after this round, because they haven't found a massive amount of success so far here on T side. And we know for Fiend, they haven't had a massive amount of experience playing tier 1 competition. We know in some of the Spring Street Spring Cups, they played Complexity and OG. And honestly, for the most part, they didn't really get much success there in those kind of games.
Was it them that had the one infamous upset, or technically upset at the time against Fnatic? I guess now in the modern day, not really a
yes, they
an
did.
upset anymore.
Not upset.
But,
nah.
That yeah, that the poor nature of that particular team. But that was what really put them on the map there. It was I think Spring Sweep Spring 2. And that really set themselves up as contenders in the top end of the tier 2 space. But as you mentioned, since that point, their campaigns against teams like OG, like Complexity, not being as effective as they'd like it to be thus far. Definitely against Spirit, it's not been as amazing start off in this map. A kill's already been found for SDY here in round 6. Straight down the mid, control shot on towards Han. 5v4.
And they need someone to step up individually, create some space, allow some map presence to be taken, because for Spirit, they're playing with so much confidence. Again, another aggressive duel tries to come out from mid. Patsy waiting for a bit of a play-in from window. Dreamer's alone out from the ramp position. The bomb's going to come back in, but Chopper's just going to get flashed in. Doesn't quite see him. At least Dreamer finds the trade back.
Very good for him, 4-on-4. Anything more here? Set around here for the Fiend sides forming up towards the A play. 2 CTs and the back lines over at the stairs and at the jungle position. Third man can also rotate in the form of Mir, but Spirit are waiting for a hit. 40 seconds for Fiend to do so.
That's very passive. Mir with an info play. Could just peek out from the window position. Does he miss the timing? Sees the player in con.
Just about misses out the chance to get a kill though. Red Star's allowed a kill. Actually, Patsy kills himself with a Molotov. Bubble goes back here against the AWP as Victor has fallen in trade. A 3 versus 2 bomb. They're going to get implanted open. It's best to plant it a bit further away from the CT spawn. The gun barrel of the AWP might be seen. The taps forward and Magic's giving up his angle, but not getting a kill and not getting killed off of his own. Right, the CTs will continue to aggress, and Mir gets Bubble wrapping that corner. Red Star the 3. Dreamer at 100 HP. 2v2 situation. They've got to deal with Dreamer up close first and foremost. The connector player might be the insurance policy. Dreamer in such a risky angle. If he gets detected, if he gets killed off, and no, he gets picked up. Gets Magic's instead. Turn around from Red Star, doubles up of his own right. And Mir will fall to give Fiend the first.
Very good round. Spirit just... they wanted too much in that. They had a 5-on-4. Great start out from SDY. Chopper gets flashed in towards ramp. Poor flash, honestly. Dreamer's not blinded at all from it. And just poor clearance, not checking out towards that top right-hand side position. Allows the 4-on-4 to come in. Patsy, unfortunately, burning to his own molly, getting tagged up in that fight against Red Star and Fiend. They post the first up on D side.
Look how quick SDY wants to get out here towards mid-control. He sees a man on Bubble. Now, we're questioning whether or not he can handle the AWP in Dexter's place. Well, he's been looking absolutely stellar so far in the first part of this map-up. Great picks down mid, aggressive plays, quick reactions. Nicely done to open up the round again. He might not be there for the BX though. It's only going to be Magic's getting caught on the jump face. Mir now with the M4 overwhelmed by Red Star. Nice double up. The man advantage, the site itself swings to the favor of Fiend.
Jeez, they've done very well in 4v5s, haven't they? Feels like Spirit have won opening man advantages in every single round so far, but these last 2 have just been recovered incredibly well. Red Star double entry out from the apartments, caught Magic so flat-footed, just trying to get nades out, trying to get back out of position, and instead he's just a dead man.
Second back to the board of Fiend. A very nice execution coming in towards that B bomb site, and the CT just weren't ready for it. So, resistance posted up by the Bulgarians in a moment too soon. Spirit in danger of making this whole thing fall out of control here for Fiend, but very clutch in the 2v2 scenario and then converting into a very confident take of the B site. And now Fiend start to show their teeth a little.
Yeah, they probably do need to find a little bit more comfortability. So far, it's looked decent in the last couple of rounds, but it hasn't looked comfortable at all. And this is probably not the Fiend that we're used to seeing. We're used to seeing them just play with a lot of confidence, win a lot of these fights. You can't quite play the same sort of style against a team like Spirit.
Tactical time out for Fiend. As you mentioned, there's going to have to be some adjustments here from the Bulgarians. They recognize that they are on the back foot by default, so... and on the back foot by the scoreline as well. Their chance to start turning it around from here. They've got a bit of ground to make up. If you think they can make that ground up, you can place a bet on it over at pinnacle.com/odds. You can find the latest in-play offerings for this game and all the other matches we have in tomorrow's matches for Pinnacle Cup, and as well as the other markets and all. Bet €10 and get €10 by using code CUP21 if you're a new customer. So, Fiend. Eye ups against the Force Invest for the Spirit side for Mars and Magics. Big Greens M4s out for the likes of Spirit. Setting ready towards the apartments. 4 players there for the T-side line.
Bubble's got to be careful he doesn't just get pushed on upon by Mir, but this is going to be a split towards the B side. Decent resmoke on the timing. They still might want to push forward of it, though.
Mars jumping forward, being heard, not seeing Han past that smoke. It will start to clear in the next couple of seconds. Han backs away for that, as Magics will do the exact same. And still short and just conceding apartments entirely.
And they've got the crossfire down from Mir, but probably need another nade up towards the side because this actually could just come in.
Lots of Magic's not going to utilize the smoke that he has. A flashbang, excuse me, so you can't even utilize the smoke, but I dodge there for Mars. They know exactly where he is in that corner. Han drops in, gets the spray together, and Dreamer can follow suit on Mir. And these B takes have been deadly as anything for Fiend. Spirit, very weak B-side defense.
Yeah, something's got to change at B in terms of the positioning, in terms of the util and the protocols, because they're just getting rolled. Just absolutely smashed about on the B side. Mirror Magic's having a really rough time, but just the entries have looked really solid on these B takes.
A third out for Fiend. Spirit. Bit of a difficult timer out this. Their 5-0 start was looking stellar. Now these last 3 rounds have been looking anything but for the Spirit side. And again, it all comes down to that B defensive. I think now that they know it's the weaker side, Fiend can just continue hitting this and just add some variation. Maybe they might go for a split as soon as the apartment stops working. Try to go towards slower. Can cut up backstabs. There's a lot of potential in terms of what they could do. But the B side seems to be the way to go for Fiend.
And not to sort of disrespect Fiend or Skate in any sort of way, but they are 2 teams that on T-side could be very two-dimensional. Like, if they're finding success, they're just going to keep doing it because they know it's going to keep working. And for Spirit, there is going to have to be adaptations, but for Fiend, there is a very, very good potential, Jay, that we just continue seeing B-side Xyz, especially if they're finding the way in which these rounds are being opened up. SDY is actually going to bring that AWP over towards the B-side rather than that early sort of window pick or anything out from mid because he's realizing, okay, we need to find some presence here.
Looking up with the M4 of Chopper, evading Bubble just by the skin of his teeth. Here's the footsteps and tries to adjust to the man, but Bubble wins that fight regardless and now gets the man advantage for Fiend in the early phase.
Ortville duel out for the apartments. Does get one by SDY, so there's a bit of a response back. Bubble, can he follow up? Mir, oh, great adjustment. Now the man advantage floats back in favor of Spirit.
A bit awkward from his own part. Didn't see the man. The M4 adjustment just barely comes up together. 4 versus 3 with Patsy on the backstab. Oh, Red Star is checking it somehow. What? How did he read that?
Oh my goodness, that's so insane. And now for the A players, at least they've got a bit of a stack going, but Dreamer's missed the timing.
Mark spray through Dreamer, gets a kill back. Dreamer doubles up as well. Not even Mir can handle him. And now it's all SDY with the AWP in his hands. 1v2 clutch set, no kits, trying to go for the wallbangs on Dreamer's part. If only he had a nade. Only he could put that back behind Dane. Just sees the headshot of Red Star. That's a 1 versus 1. Dreamer so close to position. USP could get a kill. So face around the corner, sees his man, and holds the triple to just save Spirit the 6th.
SDY chucks the NWP, and that pulls the attention for Dreamer towards the left-hand side of triple. A great clutch coming through for Sumdar Young. Dreamer, I don't know how he flicked over to that whiffing player up towards the stairs position to try and bring that back. Some unbelievable jewels being landed there from Fiend, but it's not enough to win the round.
Great stuff from SDY, and again, we had questions about him being on the AWP for this particular game. Didn't need to ask any of those questions at all. What a clutch from him. A 6th for Spirit to get themselves back on track here against the Fiend side. They've got all their weapons, of course, back on the rebuy. The T's going back in for the set piece, I think.
Yeah, Patsy has been struggling immensely so far on this City side, and this could be his time to really show up, playing out from under Balg.
M4 set to play anti-flash. Chopper looking up with the M4 back over at the ticket booth. Smoke's involved out to the Howard's position. Dreamer's going to light the Molotov. Bounce it away, and it will dip down in against Patsy, force him upstairs. He was thinking of diving back down, but now Victor's seen the man, gets the headshot in immediately. Doubles up towards Chopper on the site, but SDY and Chopper have got a couple of kills back to return with 3 versus 3. Bomb plant does go down the other side of default, and the backstab set in from there could end this whole thing. They're not checking it. They are now. Go on.
Well, they just read it, don't they? And it seems like so many of these situations for Fiend, it looks like they're not in the right position. It looks like they're not right checking the timings, but I don't know what it is with some of these turnaround kills. We saw it from Red Star in the apartments in the last round. We're now starting to see it from Han. It seems like the internal timer is just at an all-time high from Fiend.
And a 4th to the board for the Bulgarians. Again, overwhelming Spirit. Despite their best efforts at sunning up towards the back line, I thought that genuinely that backstab was going to be enough, but they just checked it at the right moment. And the trades, man, the trades are so effective from Fiend. They know exactly where Spirit are playing from. They've done their homework here.
Yeah, you know they will do. Got an in-game leader like Bubble. He's going to come prepared for every single game moving forward. Bubble, Dreamer, and Victor probably played these Spirit guys many, many times over the years. Not many times since playing under Fiend. And for Spirit, it's getting to a bit of a stance here on Mirage where they probably start waking up to themselves saying, okay, we've got a bit of a game on our hands here.
That we do. This piece setting for Spirit here for this next round. SMG for Magix does jump around the corner, get one player to drop, and SDY follows suit on Red Star. The apartments he falls in a 5 versus 3 situation. Spirit found a way in.
And this is an excellent turnaround for the Eco. They found a great couple of early advantages. There is a con position being worked in by the T side. A is relatively undefended for the most part on these rotations, but Spirit, they've got a 5-on-3.
SMG close to Magix, gets Bubble, doubles up on Victor, continuing to spray through the smoke, and now it's a 1v5 for Han. Wraps the corner, might catch his man, but misses his shot. Quadra for Magix, SMG kills left, right, and center, and Spirit with a hell of a recovery round.
I don't know what to say with that one for Magix, but damn, that's unbelievable. That really is for him to jump around the corner out from Palace, deal with that first player, and then just continue doing so much damage. Fiend take another tactical because they realized that, hang on a minute, Dreamer's really the only one finding the entries, or at least in tow, we need more individuals to step up.
Watch it again from the SMG, how much work he was able to do here, particularly in this connector control. Let's continue the spray on Victor and hoping and praying, and he just prayed in the right positions. Round are coming together. A tactical pause was taken by Fiend. Still on the back foot. Have been looking good in these last handful of rounds, but they're still just unable to find a definitive advantage and try and take some sort of equalization here.
Spirit, it's all about them being able to push on the front foot, be able to apply pressure rather than just sort of being stagnated. And now we're even seeing a double orb setup. Magix is getting the opportunity to pick up the double orb.
Alongside SDY, who's going to show who up is the big question. SDY is repositioned back out towards the A site and ready for the A set piece that's coming in from 2 players. It's a fake call, but it draws rotations heavy back here. But they're going to go for the split.
And this is an interesting setup for the T side because mid is so open. Patsy going to peek back in, but straight into the hands of Dreamer.
Let's see what's going on now. They should be able to register what's happening. Magix has get his trade back. M4 on site. A Chopper returns on Victor. 2 for 1. Makes it 2 kills to his name. Bubble trades it to a 2v2 instead. As Red Star falls, Mir gets on towards Han. It's all left the Bubble. The 3k clutches. He has the right angle. Gets it to a 1-on-1, but it's back turned out a connector. And Magix can hold the AK for his 2k and hold the AWP for the 8th round of Spirit.
Magic's, again, Orp pick coming through for that short position, rotating over with the AK and just continuing to find impact. Fiend, it seems that the trading game is their best friend, but at the same time, Spirit, in terms of the positions, in terms of the rotates, in terms of the utility usage, you get to see that to another level when you watch these tier 1 teams. It's different than when you play down in the lower divids.
Double op setup coming in for Spirit, and you mentioned that Patsy's having a hard time on this Spirit side, and you saw it in the freeze time. His numbers set pretty low, despite that Spirit still coming out on top. So again, that's all that teamwork and coordination, that experience that they have, still deal with the weaknesses that they've got. Weaknesses over on the Fiend side with just these pistols. Eco should get cleaned up easy by the rifles here. Patsy does finally get his first couple of kills of the game. Makes it almost a triple. Actually, SDY steals it away, but still more than fine to deal with the Ninth and deal with Fiend. The guns coming out.
And we know that the whole Spirit Academy team is looking on the up, and it's being led by the Helms and Patsy. Had a bit of a chance of playing with some of these guys out in Esparta. Sofix, the assistant coach for the Spirit side. Dexter as well, the AWPer that's not playing today. Moved over to Spirit, had the opportunity of now being the in-game leader of Spirit Academy, who are doing very well. So an opportunity for him to just slot in with the Spirit side, try and help them out the best they can in this matchup. And 9-4 on CT, they could get to double digits.
What they'll look to try and do here. Bubble. AK leaning up into the connector control. Chopper with the M4, who's right up close towards T-side player over at ramp. AWP of SDY. Better be ready for this. They're going to charge their way in. Good shot on the first. Chopper dealt with by Bubble. Orp can't find an angle to work with the players in the back line. Han's going to wait for rotations here towards mid. Will he be detected? No, he won't. And Patsy will fall on rotate. But at least Magic's trades it. 3v3.
They still haven't got that bomb down, and even SDY out from CT just going to try and put nades down towards the site. Follow-up damage coming in.
All sorts of util thrown out there from CT spawn, but none of them get the kills, none of them deny the bomb plant. Still working with both these AWPs for the retake. A flank involved as well for Han. Can he cut off rotations here from Magix? He may be required to do so from underpass. Smoke on the bomb. Flash going over. Swing back. Magic's getting caught by Han. Now they're not quite on the bomb just yet. They're going to wait for their opportunity. And still the kills come into double. Dealing with SDY. Dealing out a fifth for Fiend.
Spirit, even though they lose that round, they've still got money in the chamber to be able to get a very good buy going into round 15. And for Fiend, it hasn't been easy at all, these T-side rounds. Dreamer's led from the front. Bubble's been really good. Him and Red Star in some of the trading positions. But in terms of Victor and Han, we just probably need to see a little bit more out of them. Can't even remember the last time Han got a kill with the AWP.
Difficult matchup for him. Set with the big green here against SDY. SDY still playing into that mid position with one lurker that's trying to press to the A side. But again, they're going towards this B play, which has been the most successful play for them so far. Bubble out of the gate. Magic trying to hold down here on the B side. Going to get overwhelmed. Han and Victor with those two picks. Victor doubles up. And again, the B side just capitulates under the pressure. Fiend. One last hurrah into this half to get the B site here. I don't see any sort of way they fight back from this. At least Patsy gets one exit frag, but Chopper about to run right into the hands of Red Star. Easy execution kill. And Patsy, well, yeah, this is off the table.
Jeez, it is fun to watch their B-side takes, isn't it? Just how quick some of those entries come in, how quickly they overwhelm the side. Instant couple of kills coming through for Victor with the M4 out of all weapons opening up. Han getting involved with the AWP too. And for Fiend, a little bit shocked we didn't see more of the B-side X's, because when they did, they looked exceptional.
Indeed, they did, and it's so exceptional for Fiend here to turn it at 9-6 that they've actually gained the favor of Pinnacle. The odds are currently in their favor. And that could be very interesting indeed. It is their map pick, so now goes to the CT half where things can really pick up for them. Could hold their own in the defensive, because I guess you could say that Spirit's best days on this map are currently behind them. Double flash and smoke set for Chopper, defuse and smoke for Bubble, default pistols and Kevlar. Pistol for the second half.
Oh, this is a good read from Fiend. 3 on B. I like this. Spirit, this just seems like it's going to be ascending towards the B side.
Seems so. Here they come. Han with the USP, has several to find. Sees that headshot immediately. Deals with Patsy. Dreamer can't quite get Magics, unfortunately, but that's what Han is there for. Great shot and perfect heads being landed by every single bullet. Red Star and the second player is also coming up to support it here. Taps through from mid, dealt with by Bubble next on his headshot. Found Han. Missing bullets against Chopper, but Chopper is going to get traded regardless here. 1v3 for SDY. And does find flank, get one headshot involved towards the likes of Red Star. Bombs on his back, so could go for a rotate if he can find his way out of the site, but really committed towards his B play. He's got to fight. He's got to get both of these kills, isolate them individually, but peeks into both on the left-hand side and gives Fiend a pistol round.
It was just a good read from the outset to be able to stack up the B site, and especially when you just get hit by an execution, you have a decent advantage to work with. Han getting a couple of kills towards the back of the site itself, and just rotations coming in really, really quickly. And Patsy, we just saw up on screen, standing in, helping Spirit out the best that he can, but getting to a state now where it seemed like the lead was very, very large. Now it doesn't feel like it is.
Yeah, they had that 5-0 start. It's now all just falling apart. Spirit now 2 in the lead and taking an eco in this one to go for the Palace dive, the waterfall out, get that bomb plant in. Get the extra money bonus. Martis spraying through on Victor and Han, getting kills between them. The bomb plant will just about be secured here, so there's extra money to work with here on the T-side line, but no casualties taken by Fiend. The only real thing that Spirit were looking for there has been achieved, so eco cleanup, 8 to the board, guns out early for the T's.
Yeah, they can be happy with that. Nade just sailing in slightly too late there for the City side. Victor was reloading and he was on low HP, so didn't really want to go out to the USP to face again from CT. Tactical timeout from Fiend. They're using a lot of their tacticals.
They are. And what is this, number 3, I think?
Could be, yeah.
3 tacticals used by Fiend. And again, coming into this matchup, if you're a Fiend, you must have a mentality of understanding that, look, we're great, but this is still Spirit we're up against. So let's not underestimate them. That's the one thing that you do to lose a match like this. And you can see the conversations are looking pretty intense. When things are getting intense, you don't want your payments to fail you. So don't let your experience be ruined by that. Use Trustly. Make your payments flow quickly from account to account. No cards, no app download, no registration. You can try making payments on this match if you want to place bets at pinnacle.com/odds. It's a payment choice, so take advantage of that. Rifles inbound, AKs versus FAMAS. This is a bonus round for the CT side.
What I love with the team of Fiend, anytime we see the cams, it's always Bubble getting really vocal and trying to get the message across. Everyone else is just like statues, just no emotion from anyone else in the team. But maybe we'll get a little bit more emotion if they can convert some more of these full buy rounds. Han putting that nade up towards that top mid position. A lot of early damage onto mid, down at 25.
Very, very low. Very, very, very low for him. Very, very, very low for him. Not the start the Spirit wanted with this one. I mean, it's just taking that much damage to utility, then what else is available here for the Fiend side? They have those FAMASs, of course. Still not the best of firepower, but Mir could be in trouble if he takes face against one directly. He's playing out towards the mid control. Very exposed positions. The CTs are fortunately not going to press the issue.
They have pressed aggressively up in the Palace angle from Victor, so that might be something to keep an eye on a little bit later into the round of just how aggressive this move is, because if they take the A site, Victor might be the element in Palace that they've got no idea about.
It could well be, and they're splitting their way in from Connector as well. It does mean that, yeah, they'll give up the A site on the CT side, but that flank might be more important to them on the retake, and with the FAMASs in play, that might be the best play that they can go for here. Bubble getting tagged to 74, and Victor's going to wait back alongside Red Star and Han into the CT spawn. They're just going to concede that plant, try go for the retake after the fact, so they'll get some extra money. Swing out from Victor, who's accounted for by Chopper. Magic gets a secondary kill. Han gets involved, but he's traded all the same, and Chopper can double up on towards Dreamer. Bubble gets one good frag, but I think he's out of the round.
Even gets caught off. That is a very, very well-placed post-plant from Spirit, just in terms of where they're all holding out from. Chopper even having the awareness to keep a crosshair placement up to that Palace position. Just wait for Victor to just move straight into him, and then they just cut rotations out from both mid and from CT itself. Very good way to respond as soon as we get into the opening rifle round of the second half.
Yeah, big open up for the Spirit side. Of course, it was a bonus round there from Fiend, so they can afford the M4s and the FAMAS out for Dreamer. There are weapons involved with this. There are a couple of positions that can be taken, and definitely a better buy compared to the full-on for Masters that we saw from the previous. So, being set, careful placement, waiting contact.
Top Consmoke to start off for Magix, who has the youngsters look very impressive so far over the course of Mirage. The Fiend just having 3 players on A to start off. It seems like the bomb is actually going to be moving back into T-spawn for a bit of an A-split potential. And for Fiend, they're just running out of nades at this point.
Okay. Ready for Bubble, gets his first pick. Magic's there for the response. Right up close and personal. The AWP could start leaning in from the ticket booth. He's going to opt against it, though. Smoke's come down towards Top Con. None towards CT, though. They've got to deal with Han. They've got to deal with Victor. Dinked up. Red Star still comes up with a kill back outside of the connected control. Dreamer follows suit on Patsy. So, didn't account for the backstabs and didn't account for the rotations here for Fiend. The smoke came in a little bit too late. And now Chopper trying to recover a position. SDY will get the bomb down here. And Dreamer knows that he's so far aggressive as SDY gets cleaned up. Chopper gets discovered. And Fiend find the retake.
Oh, that was a very, very good counterplay in from Fiend. We saw the way in which Han's maybe not playing with as much confidence as he normally does. He actually fell back quite passive towards CT spawn. He's getting dinked up. He's getting mollied. And then Red Star just goes, mate, I'm here. I'm going to swing out for the short position. I'm going to establish the crossfire, take pressure away. And it really came down to the rotators helping the 2 guys stuck out in CT spawn just have the numbers game and have control of the round.
Now catching up. Single round. The difference here. Oh, Red Star just seeing Mirror the gap and a smoke. Perfect headshot. Opens up with the AK. Spirit, of course, on the force invest in this round. I know that Fiend took a lot of damage in that previous. There's a chance that they could still work in a reset, and that could be everything for Spirit to turn the tide back in their favor. Going for the fast BXC, and, well, it's dealt with by Dreamer. Red Star flashed out entirely blinded, but not checked. The Molotov was assumed to extend all the way, and everyone falls apart for Spirit. Patsy, 1v4, ace clutch up for him. He gets that second kill. Bombs dropped on the site. He's got time to work with, and he's isolating picks. Oh, he's got a quadra! Patsy, the silent assassin all game. Is he going to assassinate all the Fiends so far in this? 25 points of HP. Needs to get this headshot in against the AWPer. Hans heard his footsteps, finds the angle. Man's been seen! Oh, the spray's not good enough, though. 22 points of health for Han. And the Glock coming out sees him. Han still wins the fight and just shuts down the clutch.
Oh my goodness, Bubble, control your teammates. What is going on there? They got so hungry. So damn hungry for the taste of that last kill. What are they doing? They just keep peeking in one by one. So sloppy out there from Fiend. Patsy almost getting away with a 1v4 ace. Poor boy, you cannot let that happen.
And of all the people to go for an ace clutch, it had to be Patsy, the bottom fragger for Spirit. That's the worst part, I think, for Fiend. Like, fair enough, it was SDY or Magix or Mir. Patsy coming alive in that last round, and it was mostly down to the 1v1s given up there by the Fiend side. One extra bullet in the magazine, one better Glock face, one better checked angle. That could have been the ace right there for him, but alas. 10 apiece. Fiends to hold their road as Bubble cleans up the crossfire alongside Dreamer here towards mid, controlling the eco. Just gets mopped up here by the CT forces. Chopper with no exits. And Fiend, after a hell of an effort to catch up to Spirit, they have the lead.
Well, it was what? A 5-0 at one stage, and then 9-4 in the lead for Spirit. Since then, we've seen one round. I mean, what has happened with this CIS squad? It just seems like they've fallen off a cliff, and they've just found no way to bounce back whatsoever. Fiends, they've had to work really hard to bring this back, but they just look like the much more dominant team now. Oh my goodness.
Trying to debate that particular point. Smoke out towards the mid control. Set in positions. Found that first kill on Bubble. Can they find any more here?
That's just what they needed, just a dry face. And for Fiend, this is a huge over-rotation for them. No one is playing out to the B side. This is a very, very heavy risk, and it might actually pay off.
Smoke's on the other side of the map up. We'll try to go towards top corner towards the sniper's nest. A bit of a run boost into the mid control. Fiend. Haven't got much resistance out here. The Molotov's inbound. Pre-firing corners. And looking onto short. They've got a player in ladder room for Dreamer though. Smoked up here. He still sees Magic. Still gets the frag on him. The nade out towards Mir as well will just be evaded on most of the damage here. One player at market now seeing the burst fire for Patsy. Play entry as Dreamer actually strikes back here at ladder. No one accounted for him to press the issue. Mir gets a trade on the 3 versus 3. But now he's got to be the man to pick the bomb up and plant it. Meanwhile towards mid. Chopper catches Red Star. So it's an advantage for Spirit.
Oh, they deny the bomb for going down. SDY, though, gets a couple of kills. And for that whole round for Spirit, it was that one kill that came throughout from mid from Chopper, dealing with the rotate of Red Star that just slowed the whole round down, forced Fiend to go aggressive out from market. They're going to take what I think is their last tactical now.
Yep. 4 out of 4 used for Fiend so far. So despite them having a lead, despite them having their map under control, it's still contested heavily by the Spirit side. Still 11 apiece with a hell of a hold there from SDY. Where does it go from here, Dweg?
I don't know. It's going to come down to the economy game for the most part in this sort of situation. But for Spirit, can they just use their experience now to start just getting in the heads of Fiend? Because that has probably been one of the downfalls at times for Fiend, where they're faced off against tier 1 opposition. They just get their own heads, and that's where they start to struggle.
Despite the duels being one out effective by the likes of the Spirit side, Fiend have still found themselves in control of this one. Mir gets both the kills out of mid. How did he find Bubble there? Is he going to get a triple? Yes, he is. Dreamer can dream on. Victor and Red Star. Last couple players left. Red Star scouts set out towards the sniper's nest. Caught by Mir with a spray. Doesn't get the kill for it, but one man left out towards CT. Dealt with by Patsy. And Red Star's going to grab the AWP and run for it.
And that's probably one of those rounds where you just go fair play. Yeah, you're going to have rounds where you sit there and say, oh, we did this wrong. There was a mistake here, a mistake there. But Mir just destroyed them. Just absolutely wrecked them with that last one. And Red Star's just going to get hunted. There should be no way in which this AWP gets saved in. Mir with a quadro overall. What a sick round for him.
Unbelievable. It's that second kill that gets me the most, because he jumped out of the mid, from the catwalk into mid itself, looked up, and then just headshot. Unreal for Mir. And that's a lead regain for Spirit. Can they keep it to the end of the map this time?
Well, that's going to shake them for sure, and it's going to reset them. Have to be on a harsh eco, no investment whatsoever. USP's out for everyone. And for Fiend, they're not going to have much of a chance, but they need to get double orbs back out.
Lots of some flashes stacking towards mid control. Mir's in a bit of trouble. Dealt with this pretty effectively last time around, and makes it a quadra. Anti-eco cleanup, leaving one man in Dreamer. That does find Magics at least, but... And a second kill. How has he done this? USP finally gets overwhelmed, but somehow... 2 casualties that really shouldn't be able to really come forward. I mean, sneaky positions held, but 13-11 Spirit still hold their advantage. Guns back in the Fiend this time, still on the back foot once again.
Just the money is so bad. They're going into a rifle round. They've got no kit. They've got no AWP. Light on util. They've been really hit hard by the economy state from the loss bonus, and now they're in a bit of a position where Spirit have got a decent chance of starting to run away with it. Out towards mid to start off, a little bit of aggression, but Spirit, they're just not even giving them fights.
Ash round the corner, Chopper. Ending up with the AK, down the underpass. Molotov into the sniper's nest. Him away with sprays through towards the connector control, but nothing has been gained. No damage, no kills.
Oh, great nade on to Chopper out from the underpass, but this just looks to be a bit of a split play into the B side. A couple of players on B to defend, but Bubble's got to at least try and deal with the mid players.
Chopper being heard of footsteps. Flash catches Bubble blind. He's still going to push forward to the smoke, or at least he considers it. Looks out towards short instead. Doesn't see mid, does see Chopper. Eventually trying to transfer back towards mid, but it's a trade back at the AK to a 4 versus 4. SDY low. Crossfire hell with the M4. Patsy deals with Dreamer. Looks for Red Star on Magic's part, and it's a 4v2 with a retake on for Fiend.
Oh, they know where Hard is. They don't know about the information of Victor, but he's already given it away. Swing comes back out for Magix. And just some of the crosshair placement is just such a joy to look at for Spirit. The way in which they're isolating some of these duels, the way in which they've got confidence. They're even going to hunt down the M4, getting aggressive out. Patsy's going to be able to deal with Han. And for Fiend, I think they're done here. Honestly,
Yeah.
Jay, they've got to eco, got to try and play for OT. They've given it one hell of a crack, but these last few rounds have just been too strong for Spirit.
They really have certain elements really coming alive. Magix and Mir in particular. Mir in the last handful of rounds has had some ridiculous rounds. And now, Spirit. Couple away from getting the victory here. Fiend will go for the half buy on the Deagles. Found on Dreamer. Victor. Deagle set towards default. Can't land those shots. Tries to find Patsy. Unsuccessful in doing so. Bubble does finish the job his teammate had started. Right down range of the AWP SDY picks apart another 4 versus 2. The bomb will commit to the A site.
Yeah, Han and Red Star just hoping for some sloppiness, hoping for one of the T-side players to just get caught off. Mid catches the player in for connector, so they've got information to work with.
Stardust catch Magix. Damage being done to the player up at Palace. Actually, Chopper ends up falling. Oh, they've dropped the bomb! A 1 versus 1 now. Han. AWP picked up. 2 kills to his name. Surely he doesn't clutch this. Surely Mir adjusts towards it. He's made footsteps though. The AK has no info as to where Han's gone with this. Spoke to cover off the bomb, but looking up to Ayres. And Han takes a shot back with the Deagle, tapping his way forward. Doesn't see where Mir is. Now the AK's picked up. He's going to rotate right around to that B site. That's the best call for him. But he's going to give up angle towards jungle. Han gets the AWP shot and tries to do so, but Mir just holds the round together. That got way too close for Spirit.
It's just nerves in that clutch for Han. He's a youngster, has not played at a very high level for the majority of his career, and you get into a state now where you're up against a top 15 team in the world. You're trying to get them off of map point, and you've got to try and win a 1v1. It's just the nerves cracking in. Could not hit the shot coming out for the AWP, really struggles in that duel, and Mir, he recovers it for them.
Four rounds to the difference. Fiend got to get to overtime. Set with the M4s. Flashbangs over Bubble. Get back out towards the stairs position, but it's continuing to look out the connector control. It's utility thrown in and out from Spirit, trying to gain this mid position they think is heavily contested from Fiend.
And Bubble's at least going to put an incendiary down and get it really aggressive out from the bottom of Con. He needs a flash over the top.
Who's going to give it to him? Nobody. They heard the tag. Mir gets the kill through the smoke. Bubble. The first of 4 casualties that Spirit will need here. 2 players on the A site as well. One's not looking out of the entirety of short. You've got Dreamer that could wrap around the cinder blocks, but is not taking face. He expected to be more mid-presence. Han. See the utility coming in, does focus on a kill to Patsy, so 4 versus 4, and the T's press on down at dark. Victor gets dealt with by Magix, and now it's Han to try and stop the plant, to set up for the retake here, and even he falls back.
Oh, they're just so passive, SDY. What a shot into Dreamer. And for Han and Red Star, they've got to try and come out from CT. 30 seconds left on the clock. The bomb's still not yet planted.
We'll get up here, though. Got to go for a wallbang shot. Someone's got to try to deny it here for the walls. They're going to press the issue, and Red Star gets away with 1 frag, but only one is traded. Han taking damage, and SDY on the boost box gets his kill together and maintains it at 16-11 for the Spirit side. Fiend gave it their best effort, but their own map pick falls out of favor, and we head to Dust 2, where Spirit could take this 2-0 after the break. So close yet so far for Fiend. Spirit take the opening map of the series, Fiend's map pick, and that puts them on a serious back foot now for Dust 2. Spirit, so well known for being great on this map, and Fiend in theory should be great on it because they're great on Mirage, but with how well that first one went for the Spirit side, something tells me we might be looking down a 2-0 way to complete the 8-map series, 8-map day here at the Pinnacle Cup. It's Pistol going live immediately to get Spirit into the site, and engagements from Humble only get one frag. Bubble can trade a couple back of his own right, so 3 versus 3 involved here for the CT side. So many players around positions. Dreamer and Victor will get a couple of kills to get their own frags back, and it's all left to SDY, overwhelmed by Dreamer's headshot, and Fiend take an all-important pistol.
And that was a very, very clinical pistol round victory, because you're going up against Spirit on Dust 2, who are probably in the conversation for the best Dust 2 team in the world right now. They do not lose this map very often, and when they do, it's up against some top-end competition. So knowing that Fiend are going to be the ones to try and see if they can end that sort of excellent track record, they're going to have to prove something really special, and at least that start with the pistol is a way back in. Spirit, even with the damage they got done, are not forcing it up, so they're just going to lightly eco this.
They did something similar on their T-side pistol in the first map as well, in the second half, when they had the basic locks out, went for the waterfall dive out of Palace, get that bomb plant in. Not such a decent opportunity will be left here for them. They've got to play a bit more of a tougher default to get themselves into the site, but if they can get a bomb plant out of the short, I think that'll be everything to them.
It's going to be difficult on Dust 2. A great little flash lineup for Red Star as well to just blind off the majority of the short players out from Goose. But for Spirit, they're going to attempt it, but it's going to be a very tough task.
I should already scout out. Good flick to SDY. Lands that tag, and eventually the headshot will come through as well. Red Star peeking out of Goose. Drops a secondary kill. Black Magics can turn it in with the Tech 9 involved. The FAMAS of Victor swings back. Does get overwhelmed by Chopper and Magic. So 2 versus 2 with a bomb plant that will be secured here. Tapped once. No second HE on 1 HP here for Magic, so there's money gained at the very least here, but what more can they do?
This is a very expensive round, and with the FAMAS being picked up, you've got to imagine on low HP, it needs to be an instant kill.
Mars watching, turned away from Bubble. Coming up closer here. Dink off does come through for the USP, and now the scout with it all to do. Sees the head of the first man. Face back in. Flicks involved. 13 HP for Chopper now being seen by both of the CT individuals. And eventually Dreamer will get that kill. So the defuse will be coming through here for Fiend. Team Ace involved for all the CT players. But again, Spirit, Eco with a bomb plant and 3 kills. It's all thumbs up for me.
That's an awful round for Fiend, honestly. Like, they lost so much in that one. And it doesn't help that... obviously, they're going into the opening rifle round, and there's just that instant reset potential. There is just no money in the reserve whatsoever. Han is the only one that's really got anything, but for Fiend, they need to make sure they're capitalizing on this opening gun round. Otherwise, for Spirit, this could be the turnaround they need.
Incendiary's up, nades, flashes over. Red Star trying to face 4. We will get caught with some damage. Victor, a similar sort of situation as well. 2 kills for the 2 CTs. The Chopper and Magics get overwhelmed effectively. Patsy will also fall to Victor's part. And the bomb's going to get picked up, rotated out of there, because Mir's got to work in a different angle into that mid control. Has evaded 1 CT player. I think he might have been spotted, though. And yeah, Bubble will look up with the SMG. Mir's going to be watching out towards the B site. He's got to keep his head in the swivel, though. Is he known? Oh, he's hiding behind truck. I think Bubble knows. I think he's seen his foot. Yep. Both players swing. He goes down. SDY 1v5.
I love the approach out towards a longhouse. Just get in the face of your opposition. Just try and take as much of those fights as you can, and even spot the feet out for mid, just with a little bit of a lurk from mid. SDY's got to try and clutch a 1v4 or 1v5. That's an unbelievably strong response coming through from Fiend after they have a very expensive anti-eco. They follow up with what looks to be a round in which they lose no one.
Very nice follow-up as well to the last map for Fiend. Obviously, we know how close they got against the Spirit side to get the 3-0 start and potentially going 4-0 or likely going 4-0. The rifles, of course, coming in early for Spirit. See what SDY can do on this clutch basis. I hope that the T side have not gotten complacent in that map break. Opposite in for Han. Ready for the kill and makes it a flawless round for Fiend. All 5 alive. Now half buy for Spirit.
And we know Fiend have been a little bit up and down on this map in the Pinnacle Cup so far. They had that loss to Havu in the Swiss stage where they only managed 6 rounds. Yes, that is Havu and Dust 2. We've seen what it was like a little bit earlier on today. But then 16-4 double pony. So you kind of look at that whole situation and think, oh, hang on a minute. What Fiend are we going to see? The one that gets slammed or the one that gets a really good result in?
3 AKs to work with here for the Fiend side against Spirit's Deco. That falling on Patsy, who really came alive towards the end of that last map. And he maintained that life here on Dust 2. He's taken that first face, seen a CT player, but doesn't get the kill, doesn't get a shot.
Fiend just trying to make sure they don't lose any of the AKs, because holding on to 3 consistently going forward can actually make a big difference to not only the economy, but just the firepower advantage with the weapons. Red Star and Han going to be tested out towards this A side.
Actually, they're ready for Red Star. Counteract them with the smokes coming down here for the Spirit camp. Flashes coming over. Now the entries. Counter flash allow him to peek forward. Han sees one with the AWP. Gets caught on that flashbang. Magix gets 2 deagle shots. Red Star at least gets a couple of trades involved. And Magix with his 3K opens up a line for the bomb to get planted here.
Another really expensive eco coming through for Spirit. Fiend are both going to be coming through from the short position.
The AK for Magix as well. The Eagle set in for SDY. It's got an AK that he can grab. Now they both got rifles, including the AWP picked up for SDY. Looking around towards elbow. Looking for one man. Give up face. Contact scene of the flick. Dreamer back to a 1 versus 1. Magix on for the quadra here. Can he turn this eco into success? Looking up here. That bomb's been planted on default. Smoke on it. Dreamer's going to stick the whole defuse. He's got a kit. Magic's got to spray through right now. Doesn't see the man. Gets the kill way too late. So it does mean a round for Fiend. But 5 casualties, as you mentioned, it's very expensive for Spirit for the Fiend side.
Yeah, it is, but it's another round to put up, and in terms of momentum, things are looking pretty good. They're stringing rounds together. Haven't given an opportunity for a round just yet. Magic's great deagle display out, just being able to spam through. Find a 3K, unfortunately just be a little bit too late. Dreamer just holding the whole defuse, and that takes balls in a 1v1 to just put a smoke down, just stick the 5-second.
You might have realised what was going on there. Recognise he probably could have gotten that whole thing and get the round together for the CT line. I guess it's probably his only real choice, because if he took that risk in a 1v1, he could have given up an eco, essentially, and that would have been even worse for Fiend. The rifles out for both sides. Of course, the buy-in. See damage being done by the early HEs out towards tunnels. SDY, Patsy, and Magic's tank that. Smoke's down across back towards this short control. They'll get past it with the smoke.
Yeah, Han just going to be relocating back out to this car position, and for the most part, hasn't really been flashed a massive amount on this sort of posted angle. Him and Red Star finding a fair bit of success on the A side these last few rounds.
$60 seconds left, Han. Watching for position here on the short control. Spirit set up and ready. Fiend holds the AWP in position alongside Red Star. This dynamic duo has been pretty good in terms of holding down this short play. Molotov's in. Shot on the Patsy. Gets the kill. Han's going to burn and fall back towards Magic. So 4 versus 4. Player still on site and a player also out towards that long control. Incendiary will come back. Magic will get forced into a very tight position. Does Red Star read it? Yes, he does. But Mir gets a response.
Chopper's still got a lurkout from mid, but probably need a little bit more assistance on the side because they haven't even been able to clear it out. Are they going to start rotating back over towards B? At least SDY gets away with 1, and now we get into another clutch situation.
And now Victor's got to back up. Chopper's going to make his move in so quickly here. 8 seconds, he has to get the kill. Victor spotted on the jump face. AK swings out. The spray goes awry. And Fiend win 5 rounds in a row for the CT side. Spirit just getting unlucky. He was so down to the wire in a lot of these cases here. Fiend, hell of a start for the CT side.
And they're capitalizing on the clutches, aren't they? We're seeing a lot of these rounds going down to 1vx situations. And for Chopper, he's just got no time to get back up towards that bomb and get it planted. He knows he has to try and engage onto that fight. Really well played from Victor. And for Fiends, they have not dropped around just yet.
Spirit that one little play, that one little adjustment away from getting something started here. And especially in a map like Dust 2, we know that their basis is on T side. The fact that they're not getting started here is not encouraging for the Spirit Cap. SDY finds that first frag of Hard, at least. The AWP picking up start here in round 6. And they go in towards the A play with no CTs on site itself. The rotations will be coming in real quick, but they can walk in, get the bomb plant.
And they've been begging for an opening man advantage for a while now. Patsy even out towards the lower tunnels. Timing is decent for Bubble to get the trade back.
4-on-4 situation. That's off down. AK turned away from. Flash is involved. They see that one player, but still Magix gets the kill back. Chopper is dealt with by Red Star. AK involved. Headshot. Sees Dreamer as well. Magix makes it a triple as Victor strikes to the side. They're both so low HP here for the T's, but the bomb is in the open. There's no smoke with Victor sticking to Ninja this time. Tap the bomb once, try and force the AWP forward. Out and off angle, sees the headshot. Now down to a 1 versus 1. Magix, 3 kills to a name. Another good tap in from Victor will force the man forward and still lose the fight. All important for Magix to clutch that in a quadra. Getting that first round of the Border Spirit.
Just have a feeling Dust 2 is just going to be a game of clutches. Like, who's going to be winning those 1vx situations? And it looked like for a moment Fiend were going to win another one, but instead it goes the other way. And Magix, he has been just unbelievably strong so far in this series. Even out Dust 2, really being able to strike, having his teammate to back him up. Victor getting close to that 1v3, but just not coming through. And look at what it does to the economy.
All that expense put up by Spirit in the previous few rounds coming to a head here with a force buy on Deagles and Scouts. That Scout did find the opening pick up towards top mid, so Patsy's down. Response in for the AWP does deal with Victor and a nade to tank for the T side. So Fiend coming out with a slight advantage in this 4 versus 4. And about half HP as well for the 2 players.
Crazy to think about. They won 5 rounds in a row, they lose 1, and they just instantly reset. They've just got no money to work on, but it does come down to how close those rounds were, and you've got to imagine here for Spirit, things don't look great with the tagged up players.
Eagle. Set to the back line, seen there by Magix. One adjustment, the tap to the headshot, and the player up at window being spotted. The missed B-door smoke. That's very helpful, guys. Very helpful indeed. If they ever push above the arches, you're covered, but kills on coming in for the AKs. Unfortunately, there's nothing that Fiend can really do here in this round. Pistol's going to save the Kevlar. Force buy has gone to right, and this is second to the Border Spirit.
Yeah, it's blocking the 5-man tower, of course, just in case.
Do you need 5 players to boost up that? I'm pretty sure you only need like 3.
Oh, I don't know. Oh, yeah, we could get a bit of a test going. I reckon. Kind of look at how high the overpass boost is, and you might be right on 3. Depends on how close to the wall you are.
It was be pushed up right towards the wall, I'd say. Hey, Spirit, can you just put 3 players over at the wall, try and you know, get on top of each other so we can get like a rough estimate? That'd be great. No? Okay, you want to go save? That's fine. It's all good. Important for them to save because their own economy is still in the toilet at the moment. Fiend. By themselves have not got much to buy around here. They've got to hold on to those upgrades they saved from the previous. They have an AK at least for bubbles. There's always that, but nothing else should come through. Tech pause. Before we get to round 8, the tech pause called in by Fiend here, Dweck. Okay.
Take a bit of a moment to have a look at the bet 10 euros, get 10 euros over at Pinnacle. They've been doing some fantastic work with the odds over the course of the day and over the course of the event. So make sure to get involved. Check them out. See if you can get in some cheeky punts because, again, not many games to go. This is the last best of 3 of the day. One more day tomorrow. It has been a quite long event. We started right back in the group stage with the BO1s to start. Saw a couple of teams getting knocked out early. Went in towards Swiss, and now we're in playoffs.
But playing stage and a group stage. I guess it's kind of a group, but not really a group.
Yeah, it's the same thing, isn't it? Yeah, playing group stage, yeah, just however you want to call it.
Well, been running for a much shorter time frame than actually a lot of the other tournaments that we see in the Tier 2 space, which I think is actually pretty impressive for Pinnacle to be able to pull that off. It does cut out a whole section, and I think, honestly, it's a bit more concise and a bit more followable in that respect, and I kind of like Pinnacle Cup as a result. Has had some very interesting turnouts in terms of the teams involved, and again, some very fun storylines over the course of the playoffs. Mouse on XT is the one that comes to mind immediately. A lot of AFK players, I just noticed here between Spirit and Fiend. Saw Bubble getting up a little bit earlier. I assume that it was to do with him and his the reason why he got up, but I'm not sure why Spirit are also out of there. Okay, so it's apparently a bathroom break involved for Fiend, which
Okay.
I don't know why they didn't go during the map switch, but there you go.
It's one of those where it's you go on a holiday, you don't need to go to the bathroom, you get on the motorway and just you instantly do, mate. It's just one of those, isn't it?
Here's an interesting stat for you. The bombs detonated and bombs defused favor Fiend quite significantly.
Yeah.
I think that might be because even though there's more bombs planted for Spirit, it's not down to the retakes per se. It's just because they've been able to overwhelm the CTs as on that first map, just being able to get the kills before the bomb goes up. So the retakes have been really good for the likes of the Fiend camp, but not quite as good as those stats might initially imply. Spirit not getting much of a chance to strike here on this T-side line here in this map. So those numbers could start to extend for the moment. But in this round, it should be pretty basic at the cleanup on this particular round. Chopper gets bubble. Opens up the deal. The Red Star chimes back in a 1, and Victor follows suit with the second. Han does get traded back to a 3 versus 3, though.
And we've seen a lot of eco victories today, or at least ecos that have done a considerable margin of damage. Dreamer, all timing. He's going to get seen by the T-Sport players. Oh, had a chance there of being able to get towards a bit of a backstab, but instead they know exactly where he is.
They now know that the T-side players are coming in towards the B side, and Dreamer still drops SDY. Victor jumps up against Patsy. Patsy gets his kill to return, and Dreamer's going to hold with Red Star with these Deagles in tow. Seen out towards the mid position, and now they realise it's going to have to be an A rotate here for the likes of Spirit. A player is still going to get back here, and Red Star's going to cover off from long.
Now, these Deagles just need a couple more connections. Even just a body shot going through to the stomach of the Chopper could be enough.
Red Star just tags in. 7 HP, so close to falling. And Dreamer has grabbed some of the AKs that were dropped there towards the lower tunnels. And he's going to try to go for the clutch here. I thought he would have saved, but no. They're still watching CT, actually. They could line up for him. Always a case of timing and positioning. Kill found on the first man. Patsy, 1 versus 1, going to plant safe for short boxes.
He's got to try and clutch again. We've seen him out on Mirage in these situations. Dreamer's so low.
Patsy. The Kevlar as well to work with. The AK still seeing him, though. It's all okay. So headshot could make the whole difference, but Patsy lands the body shot instead. And secures it for Spirit. 5-3. Decent eco for Fiend, though. By involved in this round, they've done damage.
I don't know if it's just the aura around Pinnacle Cup or what it is, but it just seems like these last couple of days, we've just seen so many more eco victories or just high impact ecos. I mean, you do get it from time to time, but this has just been elevated to another level.
Rifles in, AKs on Patsy, wrapping over. Messing alongside Chopper, Spirit trying to start their dominance here in the true gun round. It's Fiend. Passive as anything here towards long. The smokes have gone down towards the corner. And that's all they've really got here in this one. Plays out, Spirit. Not even going to work that aggressive into the long control.
Just not even giving them a contact, not even giving them a duel. There is some slight aggression that could come through from Dreamer into the upper tunnels. All just comes down to a matter of timing until it gets watched on. Hard looking up the top mid, but the AWP is going to be able to strike onto the first.
Nicely done. Magic's to fall. Expecting him to reface here as the AK and Mir actually deals with the player in tunnels. Molotov's down towards the mid play, and Red Star's going to try and look on towards tunnels himself. Patsy presses, his bubble takes damage, but he gets the kill on Mir to return the man advantage. Red Star making a lot of noise here. Patsy knows that he's behind enemy lines. Can't get a kill towards him though. Red Star backs away.
Does Red Star look back in? M4. Oh, even wins the fight onto Patsy.
SDY trades on Victor. Bahan turns the AWP up to the wallbang shot. 1 man left on 14 points of health. Red Star will let him cross back into the A site, so a plant can be secured at least. But what more can SDY do here?
Not a massive amount with the low HP, and he's even getting hunted out for the short position. Might not even be able to get this AWP into in. Oh, great shot for Han. And I tell you, the difference from him on Mirage to Dust 2 is night and day.
Yeah, absolutely. Massive, massive stuff posted by him, and that's going to be crucial to the map victory. Want to hold their own. 6-3 for now. Fiend are the ones that are in the lead. 2 AK to Red Star and Dreamer AWP in for Han. A little bit of firepower to work with here for the Fiend cap. Spirit heavily damaged in the last couple of rounds, so the kind of half reset comes through. They've got AKs, but a scout in play for SDY. And look at Chopper facing so far forward. He's seen his man and bubble timed it so well and gets the kill.
Excellent start. Dreamer just getting so blind. This got to be an instant save. There's no way they can retake.
Yeah, they're out of there. They're not even going to bother with this. So proficient there for Spirit. Especially the kill on the site. Nicely done there towards the mid play, but it was really the site players that did it all. And for them, it's going to be a fourth. Fiend still hold the lead, but that's going to be contested once again because their own economy is still in the toilet. It's not being recovered for the Bulgarians. Hundreds of dollars at best. Harm with a few thousand, sure, but they need all these weapons to stay in if they want a good buy-up.
And one of the aspects of Tier 1 teams that I love seeing in these kind of tournaments is just the protocols and the way in which they just catch incredible timings and open up space. And it's rounds like that where they just catch the CTs so flat-footed. First of all, Bubble is repositioning out towards CT. Those footsteps are being heard. And Chopper just gets a really good timing. Just that walk out from mid doors, catches him with a nade, easy kill. And then even just the utility usage out to that B site. Dreamer is just so wide. Needs at least a couple of kills if they want to think about going in for the retake. And he just gets away with nothing.
Fiend still holding the stats of the Spirit side in this one, and again they can go for a buy-up. Spirit going quick into the B side. There's just a rush play. I think it might well be stopped by the smoke coming in for the CT side, but it was very, very fast into those tunnels. Halter for the moment, Spirit applying the brakes.
Yeah, seeming like they just wanted to wait and see what the protocol was from Fiend, whether there'd be any counter utility. If there wasn't, just continue. Patsy just trying to see if he can spam through the smoke, hope to catch one of the CTs repositioning, but for the most part, decent start here from Fiend.
Smokes on the cross, red start. Can't find an angle to work with. We're going to let these T-side players cross. Spirit. That's their way out towards this short position. I don't think that they're going to aggress either, so setting ready for another A execution, it seems.
And just shoulder baiting, just being able to force the AWP off angle on short if there is any. Instead, Harden just playing out towards ramp. He hasn't really ever been aggressive at short. He's always been quite passive on the A side.
One player on site itself, one player out towards the longhouse. On's got the work for me. Victor could potentially bail out the position of a split play. Magic's with the AK. Can he see his man? Not quite. And a backstab involved for Red Star instead. Comes through, completes itself. Rips apart everyone on short. Trades involved for Patsy and Chopper, but 1v3, no HP. Fiend with 7.
Jeez, that really came out of nowhere, didn't it? We saw the way in which Red Star was playing aggressively up towards the doors and just realizes, like, I'm going to try and make a play. I'm just going to try and make a bit of a backstab. It's been pretty silent for a while now. Everyone is regrouped up towards that short position, and no one is watching for the backstab.
Out of nowhere, this whole play came together with a spray of Red Star, and I was wondering if they was going to push the issue, and no one had their heads turned back or had them on a swivel. Big mistake there for Spirit, and it's been a very scrappy T-side half as a result. Fiend could get the half at 8-4. Spirit, they themselves found an 8-4 at a certain point to win the half during the last map. Are we going to see mirrored image scorelines compared to Mirage? Well, good kill from Magic, trying to deny that. Hard, caught off first and foremost, kicks things off for the T side.
And they don't commit with it, actually. Instead, they start pacing it up towards this A side, and look at the rotation that's come through from Red Star. He's left A completely now.
And Chopper's downstairs. Victor coming in with the backstab once again. No one's going to watch it. There's a player out towards lower tunnels, though, so Patsy can't deal with the man. So, 5 versus 3, and once again, this might be a save call for the CTs as Patsy goes for the hunt. There will not be a retake here for Fiend.
And for Fiend, if they're watching back this demo and they're looking at this round, how are they getting scrambled like that? There's one pick that comes through out from mid, and Red Star just instantly leaves his post, instantly goes down towards CT spawn on A, and it's a perfect read from Spirit. They know the rotation lines, they know the setup, and they're even going to try and hunt these last remaining.
Dreamer with one pick. Be careful at how many players they throw at this here for Spirit, because their own economy is still not recovered. Shots on the Dreamer with a double up. Sees the third man. Made in by Patsy, but in the end they do think better of it and decide to fall back here. They're not going to give up all their kills. So close to these CT players, though, had within touching distance of getting those picks. But again, got to be wary of the economy game. Fiend, the same thing. Tactical timeout.
And they've been taking a lot of tacks over the course of this best-of-3 series, just knowing when they're in positions with not great advantages and knowing that money just isn't as clean as it used to be.
Not clean money and not efficient economy, but your own... set up here for the tactical pause. You wonder what's going on. The Fiend camp again. Discussing a few things here and there for their own right. Spirit.
Oh, I don't know, Jay. I don't know where you get in this sort of situation that for Fiends, like they're on the front foot, but at the same time, there's a very good opportunity that Spirit could just turn this around, isn't there?
Yeah, very possible. Like, very, very possible indeed. Now setting with the default set to the AWP of hard and looking for that pick up top mid, seeing nothing. Not catching anything at the very least. Spirit find their way up into the short control once again. It's all sorts of fire down through that smoke. Not catching any picks or damage. Arn trying to wrap forward onto that short position. Can't see anything of the T-side line. And Magix catches the headshot. Opens things up. Does not press any further forward than here, though.
A great duel being one out from the AWPer. Just that straight swing coming out for the short position. And for Fiends, they're trying to see if they can recover at least a bit of a way back into the round. Red Star, if he gets overly aggressive, Magix might be able to find a double.
Here's the footsteps. Here's Red Star. Backing away from position. Have the AK instead, thinking it might be a better weapon, or at least having it on backup in case he has to switch towards it. 8 bullets in the magazine, ready to receive the T-side, but 30 seconds for the hit for Spirit now. Got to go quickly.
And they've still got to lurk in towards that upper tunnels to maybe try and cover rotations off from mid. Magix again. Some of these entry frags are unbelievable. Mir getting involved too. This has got to be another save. Victor's going to try his absolute best on the side, but he only gets away with 2.
Yeah, if he got away with that third pick, that would have been enough. The lineup was there for him, but ultimately not coming to fruition. 1v3 for Dreamer, has got to save. No sense in throwing away his weapon. There's no way he wins this 1v3 and back up on the B site. It does leave Fiend with very little.
And Magix on T has just been insane in map 1 and in map 2, and he's a player that doesn't really need to step up massively just because you've got so many solid fraggers on this Spirit side, but it seems like in this best of 3 he's getting a lot of freedom to kind of do his own thing.
Spirit will get within 1 of the lead for Fiend. CTs might finally get equalized here by Spirit as they try and take the lead back on their own map pick here. Has been a bit of a laboured effort for them given how they lost that early 5-0. At the turn of the half, it still could be their favour.
Yeah, very much so. Fiend, they're running out of steam, aren't they? They're up 5-0. Yep. They won a few clutches here or there. There were some close rounds, but now the money's not there. The shots just aren't really there, and the advantages are not coming as easy as it once was. Patsy out from this long position. Bit of aggression up towards a short angle. Chopper has not been able to see hard just yet.
Was lower tunnels, full man stack into the Fiend's A site. Smoke down a Chopper, still assuming that there's a defense. Molotovs towards Harm will suppress him. I think they might start to get an inkling here. They're still holding out towards the mid control, but they're committing towards long, it seems.
And they're going to run it to the stack, 100% by the looks of it. They are all regrouping up from long. And for Fiend, this is the best outcome you can hope for in an eco, that they're just going to run into the entire pack.
Still very possible with an AK involved that there could be some decent kills that they're thrown off by the AK's position and the pistols can come in. They've even got a Deagle as well. Now seeing what's going on, dink down damage, Mir gets caught by Bubble. The USP is all they need to get the first frag in, trying to recover that rifle as well. Magic starts walking up to the site, Red Star close to position, Deegan involved, wrap the corner here, Magic gets the kill on the first and the second. Man advantage now getting back here by the tees, but the AK, a Dreamer, held back at Gandalf, not willing to strike just until yet now he swings, gets Magic's 3 versus 3, still got players at long, they've got Patsy, however, Chopper's got to trade it, and indeed he does, but Dreamer comes up with a headshot of his own, and all back for SDY, one-on-one against Bubble. USP rounds the corner, and SDY just holds it together for Spirit, but so much damage done there. It should be recoverable for the last round of the half, but Fiend so close to holding that round.
Guaranteed there's a world in which SDY could just be a main AWPer. Like, if he just said tomorrow, oh, you know what, Spirit? Don't fancy playing with you guys anymore. I reckon he could get another team just being a primary AWP, couldn't he? Honestly, him in this game, picking up the AWP, he has been so damn consistent. And for Fiend, that was a very good opportunity of winning a 2v1 there, but they can't quite do it.
Rifles will at least be back in with the Fiend side for this next round. They'll go 1 for 1, 2 for 1, 3 for 1 as Magix locks on a Victor in the midst of the smoke. Now towards mid control, they'll just stall the rotations of Bubble and Dreamer. Last 2 players left for Fiend, trying to they can get one last pick back against Spirit side, try and hold some resistance here towards the A site, but Spirit are the ones in control, and they'll cross slowly past these smokes.
Dreamer just trying to see if he can establish a bit of a crossfire, looking out towards that ramp position, going out very wide, deals with one, not quite that second. Bubble looking for a bit of a trade back.
They're both pretty low as well, but Bubble himself is tagged. Patsy watching with the AWP, he's seen the gun barrel now, they know. Planting the bomb safe for his position, Bubble eventually falls to the hands of Patsy. Slow walking, no need to aggress too far forward, don't give up any mistakes. Lock on, get his frag, get the 8th for Spirit to close out the T-half.
Fiend would probably be quite disappointed with themselves, knowing how much of a great start they had in this map, and they've just let Spirit get a lot of momentum. 4 rounds in a row up for the CIS squad, and you've got to imagine that, yeah, now going into the CT side, statistically, it's not the better half for Spirit, but it seems like they've woken up a little bit, and they're now starting to look more dominant on Dust 2.
Back and forth first half though, and for Fiend, this could be their way in. Again, T-side bases for both sides, so the fact that Spirit only got away with 8, if Fiend get the pistol conversions and rifle, and things still turn up good for the Mir. USP set in against Red Star, will get forced out, the flashbang's over, he's blind as a bat, and it's 3 kills coming in so quick for him, Victor and Dreamer. 2v5 in an instant gain for Fiend. Spirit just dead to rights in the mid and short control. Aggressive place of Magic. Tries to get some headshots involved. Gets his 3K. And he's recovered it all of a sudden. Glock turn around to the man who was long control. He's got the bomb for his own right. And SDY gets a pick back 1 versus 1. Can he clutch it for Spirit? Is his teammates' efforts going to go to waste? It's HP advantage for Han at this moment, and he's a headshot desperately. SDY forced to reload. Han's got a challenge for the kill, so is SDY. Shots ringing out as Han presses the issue in towards CT spawn. Can SDY bait him? No, he can't. Oh, my heart. And all Spirit, tragedy in their own right, pistol gained by Fiend.
They get a 5-on-2 so instantly. The Glock kills just come out everywhere. Magic's doing his absolute best. Why are they pushing through a short smoke like that? Just thinking the round is pretty much already done. Magic's doing as much as he humanly can. It's not enough to be able to win the round. And for Fiend, they can think to themselves, thank goodness we converted that, because we almost threw it away.
Magix will be kicking himself knowing that if he just needed that one last kill, that would have been enough. But at the end of the day, as you mentioned, Fiend nearly throwing that one down the toilet. Now we're going to work into the defaults here against the Spirit side. AK is out for everyone here, sparing no expense. The 4th round could be expensive for them, but oh, it's a collateral from SDY actually. Again, the pistol showing up some fight here on Spirit side. Bailing out rotations here. Victor close with the bomb on his back. Magic's getting caught for damage, so is Chopper. Flash blinded. Support from Chopper's part. Victor falls. Red Star trades it. He's known at the site, but SDY's got a quadra. Now looking for the ace. The bomb in full CT control, and CT swarm the B site. Han swinging out. Desperate to hold his own 1v3 clutch. Oh, SDY! What a flick! What a hold! What a round!
Oh my goodness! Is that play of the tournament? I think it might have to be the Deagles out on the B side. SDY, how composed he was to get each of those jewels. That is insane!
Some die young, but not him. Not in this round. Collapse, headshots, clutch moments, teammate utility support, ridiculous flicks. That one had it all for SDY. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. Making up for Magic's floundering in the pistol round, but side. Full economy reset for Fiend. No rifles at all in this one. And 2 free AKs and an AWP for Patsy in round 18.
Oh my goodness, they just couldn't trade him. They could not trade him at the back of the site. And for Spirit, that's such a momentum booster to win a round like that, to have it in that kind of a way. And for Fiend, they've got to answer back. They've got to answer quickly. And even for Patsy, he's got the AWP out in mid.
Set and ready for contact. AK out here for Mir. Patsy gonna look forward with a pistol. Red Star gets his Deagle involved, but Patsy wants more Deagle kills for the CT side. Chopper will get a trade back to maintain the man advantage. But now they're gonna focus on the A site because nobody's here, and they're all just rushing up long as Magic's set with the FAMAS top fragger. Donnie gets 1 kill for his trouble here. The scout can trade it, so some expense being taken here by Spirit.
Tried run boost the bomb over. Oh, they tried it. Didn't quite happen. A Fiend just not being able to convert. And for Spirit, this is now probably them just getting up to victory road. Economy being reset. Fiend have just got to eco. And the kill distribution, I think it's crazy that Mir is 4 and 16. After the performance that he had on map 1, he has just dropped off massively. Magic's and SDY have kind of stepped up, but this kill distribution, it kind of looks awful, right, for Spirit?
I mean, credit to Magic's, he's having a ridiculous game, but I think you're right. I think they need more from him and from his teammates. It could be a much more proficient side from the Spirit camp in this map. At least they hold the lead by a couple of rounds, sure, and it's an eco to make it 11-8. Magic's line stream at a start.
This should be easy pickings coming through from the city side. The Glocks will not be able to get away with marching. Interesting enough to see Patsy AWPing on the city side. We know that he doesn't AWP a massive amount for Spirit Academy. Almost never see the AWP in his hands. But here on city side, it does do. Thinks he's going to have a bit of a crack at it. Mid, let's get away with a couple. At least there's a trade back.
Yeah, 4-on-2. M4 trying to work in a bomb plant. Magic's ready for them both, though. Great headshot. Red Star now seen. 1v4. Does find a kill at least, so that's pretty decent. Got to grab that bomb and focus on the AWP, but only those 2 casualties. Everything holds itself together. 11-8. Rebuy. Now inbound for the T side.
And for Dreamer, he's been so consistent over the course of this series. He posted, what, 21 kills out on that first map. He's leading the fragging again out on the second. And it almost feels like he's been a little bit silent in the sense that he's not having those really high impact rounds, those massive 3Ks, 4Ks, but he's just consistently putting numbers up, map in, map out, even up against a tier 1 opposition side like a Spirit.
Spirit. Up to the mid control. Seeing to get an entirety here for the CT side as Fiend. Try and work into that short presence. It's so passive from Spirit, and because they know that they can get kills behind smokes, apparently SDY still fantastic here towards the B defense.
It's frustrating because what do you do against that? Dream is just trying to play a lurk. He's trying to play behind the smoke and just getting tapped in by SDY. Even out from the long position, they have to deal with a pit player.
M4 out in the open. Bubble gets the kill against him. Dink against his name. However, AWP and Patsy can finish the job. Victor's tagged 2 more players seen. The flick gets overcooked. And now player on the site overwhelmed by Victor. 3 versus 2 to the short strike. And that long control may have just won them the rounds.
It looks like it did. They were able to overwhelm Magic's pretty easily. Victor, he's down to 51 points of health, but overall, this is going to be a very tough retake.
Gonna try go for it anyway. Molotovs. Smoke's involved at the ready. Suppression for the time being. The AWP. Look down range here for Red Star. Looks like nothing's there at the moment. Now Smoke's in. Player been seen. Spray through for Victor. There's damage to SDY. And now he falls back to maintain his life. Same thing for Mir. Money's still not there for the CT, so it's best to hold on to these 2 AKs. And see the round back to Fiend.
It's an intelligent decision. Why waste a 2v3 like this? Hold on to the double AKs. Be able to get a buy together going into the next round. Fiend, a good recovery there. Seemed like the early portion of that round, they didn't find a massive amount of success, but the split into A was able to get some really important entries. SDY can drop an M4. Mir can do the same. Magix can buy himself. So, yeah, they'll definitely buy it up.
3-2 in rounds thus far in this half, favourable to Spirit. Still 2 rounds of difference between Fiend and Spirit overall, though. No AWPs for the CT side here. It's set in Vahan instead. We'll look down range here at Longhouse. Molotov does not burn him off. It missed in the particular positioning, and Magix gets legged for his transgressions. Crossing without util, without flash, without smoke. But no kills.
Yeah, Fiend just trying to slow down the whole pace of this second half, try and get their T side under wraps and see if they can strike with some opening man advantages. For the most part, it's only damage to come through from Magix. Mir out towards the B side. Double AKs out in B, actually. I was a little bit surprised about that. I thought that maybe they'd want to split the AKs, one on A, one on B, but they want to hold them both over at the B side.
When you consider the number of times that A has been hit, it might be worth it to at least keep one of those over there in the event of a rush or a fast play. Might require extra firepower. They have got Patsy with the AUG, though, so there's always that. Looks in, continues peeking up. Hoping for contact with Smokes inbound. Patience around here for Red Star. Incendiary's on, he'll get pushed back.
Excellent timing there for the City side in terms of just the util. Magic's making a big info play, but he needs to get back to A quickly.
Yeah, Patsy holding sight. Bubble gets tagged up by the player out towards Long, and Bubble can get that kill in, but Chopper trades it. Another backstab involved for the SMG. Magix gets Dreamer. 4 versus 2. They will secure the bomb plant. The AWP gets a leg shot back on towards Chopper, but Chopper makes it his triple, and Mir just wide swings. Ferrari peaks, it just wide swings. Ferrari peaks Red Star. Spirit will hold the round.
And that whole sequence, it was just perfect utility usage that set the round up. So Fiend are going for the fake mid to B. They've got the crossworks down towards the site, Chopper still on rotation down towards CT, but just the incendiary put down towards that short position gives them a little bit of info. Magix makes one of those backstab plays, an info play towards top mid, catches off one of the lurkers in lower tunnels, but it's even Chopper that's sort of on the elbow angle or looking up towards short is where he got the majority of the damage in that round.
And Spirit extend their lead a bit further with Fiend on a forced buy back into round 22. That bomb plant bonus enable a couple of AKs and an AWP to come out. They've seen one player crossing past the mid doors. Harm will try to take facing against the M4s here on the B site, one of which on SDY. Mir's in the back with an AK, vertical crossfire. Taken at the same angle. In theory, there's a lineup chance here for one of the AKs of the T side, but being tentative about this push, they will start to make their move in now. Counter flash involved. SDY does not swing towards it. It's just stalling tactics. Now Victor seen. Knife brought out at the wrong moment. They still file their way back out of position. Mir, it's a kill involved, but he's dealt with. Han actually gets the kill on Dreamer, excuse me, and that allows them all to fall apart again. The AKs have swung back at a T side. 3 remain in position, and Fiend making all the mistakes on that B hit.
That whole round gives you nightmares if you're Fiend. That's something you're going to be thinking about for days and days, knowing that this is the last tournament you're going to be playing into the player break. You're up in a quarterfinal. You can't be making mistakes like that. Just getting into the mix of things. They caught SDY still repositioning out to Car. In terms of the early contact, they did a lot right, but then the TK comes into the mix. They can't trade Mir out to the back of the side, and now they're forced on an eco. Losing that round may have just lost them the game.
Unless these Deagles find their way into a ridiculous sight take. Mir heard them out towards lower tunnels. We're going to face him, but Patsy as Mir will be the backup man. Spray through, great sequence of 2, and Chopper So clean up the other players up towards top mid. Just take a lot of damage back. Hahn, nade to the face. Orp as well. 14-9. Spirit 5 in the lead and 2 away from the win. It's one final buy for Fiend. If they're going to turn this around, it starts here. It starts now.
Card Fiend, give us something. Just anything at this point. I just want to see some enjoyment out of them before we have to say goodbye, because they're running out of opportunities. 2 rounds on T-side is all that they've managed. One of them was a pistol. Patsy just being able to just get that synchronization in with Mir. And Spirit, they just look in control. They look like they can start running away with it.
Chop up. Same with Incendiary and Nade. If he puts that down towards lower tunnels, he could do so much damage towards Victor and Red Star. Ops against it. Then getting SDY onto that short control, allowing him to hold his own. Probably just play the bait and switch positions in there, and they dismantle that and just go back to standard positions here on the CT side. So, Spirit, ready to receive, smokes down to standard. Mir cannot see the players on short.
And even the weaponry, you've got double AWPs and triple AKs. You can't ask for a better weaponry buy coming forward from Spirit at all. Victor just getting naded further forward. He just can't even find an entry path into this short position. Can't even find a jewel.
Spirit happy just to suppress, deny any real opportunities for Fiend. Any paths, any kills, any damage, any sight, anything. Flash forward now to allow peek forward to Chopper. Sees a gap in the smoke, does not see the T-side players that are out there. Meanwhile, the long players have acted. Chopper gets the kill on Dreamer and Victor, so the short presence is taken out. It's all to these long players. The bomb can get planted, but the retake has a 2-man advantage.
And they need kills. They've got to be able to find some space to open up on this post part. They're still in a 3v5.
Orp ready for Hahn. He knows that someone's out there. Looks back towards the spawn. Flash forward. SDY may have seen him. Molotov's coming in to drive them out of position. AK at Goose, found by Magix. Red Star in the back, can't do anything as Hahn also drops in the interim. And it's map, match, and quarter-final point here for Team Spirit to make their way into the CIS derby in the semis against Forza. 6 rounds of Fiend to deny that much. And Spirit just so good looking right now. The money is there, the buy is there. The bomb plant did come through for Fiend, so to have another rifle round, but this is truly their last chance now.
And they look one hell of a threat. They look rock solid. They've come into this event, and Dust 2, Mirage, they've held their ground. Individually, they've looked very impressive. And for Fiend, it's all down to them now to see how much further can they survive. For Spirit, they want to try and get this over and done with.
Victor will stop them from getting so far forward with it. Molotov's in, the AK's looking out. AWP ready to receive. Smokes down. Orp set. Players spotted. Not killed. Not tagged. Nades back. Might do some significant damage. And 4 players. Tank it! Patsy! Blind as a bat. Still gets that kill behind and Bubble. Respond with 2. It's a 3v2 for Fiend.
They might as well have a bit of a crack at this. Just try and narrow down the economy even further. There's so much money for the CTs to work with.
Nades on the site. Tags Hahn the 13, follow-up HG for SDY, removes him. Incendiaries on towards Goose, force the other man forward to Victor. It's trade back on Mir, one-on-one with Bubble to hold it all, and that's exactly what he does. Keeps Fiend alive for now.
It's a very, very well played clutch coming through from Bubble, just working with the time, working on just some of those shoulder peaks out from that ramp position. Spirit cannot close just yet, and they're still heavily investing going into the next round, not just getting rifles out for everyone in terms of M4s. They want those double AWPs to come through for Patsy and for SDY. Fiend, can they find a follow-up? Oh, Patsy, jeez, him with the AWP.
He's feeling it. Maybe had a slow start in the first map, but here in a second he has kept pace with the rest of the Team Spirit average. Now it's SDY's AWP to strike it. He's also been feeling it with Deagle's AWPs, everything. Seen several players does not line up the collateral but gets the kill on Han instead. Mir on the other side back in towards Car. M4 lines up too, and that's GG. Dreamer will try fight hard, but he's got every player to find. He gets SDY, but a bomb's in the open and everyone's adjusted for it. Nade back, dead man walking. 16-10, and it's Spirit with a 2-0 to complete the 8-map day and take their spot in the semi-finals.
And honestly, who would have thought that every single series today would have been a 2-0? I came into the whole day today in the quarterfinals thinking, oh, we're going to have so many 3-mapper affairs, we're going to have some really close results, and instead, it's the complete opposite.
Indeed. I mean, look, I thought this one could have been the close affair of the day. We looked at this one thinking to ourselves, like, man, Fiend and Spirit, what a history sort of story between those two teams. Again, eliminated from their only S-tier tournament, Fiend, by the likes of Spirit. And we took a look at the standing situation with Dexter not being in server today, and we thought that might be a hindrance. And at the end of the day, it was other players that came alive in that one, Dweg. And as a result, Spirit are going to walk away with a result that they'll be more than happy with today.
Yeah, they looked great. They looked really, really solid. Magic's put on one hell of a show. Mir really showed up towards the back end there at Dust 2. Had a great performance out in that first map. And it just seemed like for Fiend, I don't want to be too negative on them because I don't think they played poorly. I thought they actually played really well, but it was Spirit was just another caliber. And that's always what you get with these tier 1 teams. If they come here to play, they're so much stronger.
That's what we were saying before. That's what I was saying before. It's like, you know, the main sort of like that leg up that Spirit will have is the fact that they played in all these big events. They played A-tier and S-tier events exclusively this year. They just came off the back of a Cologne exit. So they're playing in the biggest tournaments in the world. So the idea that Fiend could hold a candle to that, even if it is just a case of scorelines close in maps, I think that's still impressive for them. Yes, I feel like it might have been a bit more one-sided had Dexter been in server. But, you know, for Fiend, I think it's positives all around for them, and definitely positives for Spirit, again, on the one-track path, I think, to the grand finals here. Should take a look to update you at the bracket for the Pinnacle Cup thus far, so you can see how the day has played out. We played all of our quarterfinal matches with Sinners beating out Copenhagen Flames and Endpoint beating out Hardvu. They will be up against each other in the upper semi-final, and of course jumping to the lower portion of the bracket, not the lower bracket itself, but the Forza Skates series ended up with Forza going over them, and Spirit of course just beating out the Fiend side, so we will have our CIS derby as well in the semi-finals.
And we've got one hell of a semis coming up to be able to find who's going to be able to take that 80 grand for first place, who's going to take the 20 grand for second place. I kind of look at the games tomorrow and think to myself, well, at least in both of them, you're going to have some banging games. Sinners and Endpoint both been on the rise as of right. We know that for Forza and for Spirit, it's a CIS derby, so who doesn't like that?
Who doesn't like that? We've already seen CIS derbies as the pinnacle of tier 2 CS for like the last year or so, and hell, even the pinnacle of tier 1 CS to a certain extent these days, with Gambit and Na'Vi being up in those particular ranks. So I look forward to seeing how well Forza and Spirit will be able to do. That's probably my highlight series of tomorrow for me, Dweg.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you too. I mean, bit of an early prediction. I think that you probably want to give the edge to Sinners over Endpoint. It seems like they're on a really, really good run of form for a Czech team who's really surprised this year. And then in that derby, you want to give the edge to Spirit, but anything can happen in a CIS derby, and we know that from time to time.
Absolutely. I'm going to be excited to see Forza for the first time in a very long time as well for me and you personally. So I look forward to seeing how well that one will play out. But that is all action to come your way tomorrow, where tonight we have to bid you adieu, but all the action continues at 1 p.m. CEST from tomorrow onwards. So you definitely want to make sure you're tuning in here at twitch.tv/TebTV for the final day of the Pinnacle Cup. We were going through both the semi-finals and the grand finals in tomorrow's action, so you do not want to miss it. Again, twitch.tv/TebTV, where you close out this second tournament right here. But for the time being, for tonight, that's all we have time for you. So we have to bid you all adieu on behalf of myself, the Eternal Jay, my co-commentator, Dwayne, and all the production stuff and admins behind the scenes here at Reload Grid and the Pinnacle Cup. Thanks so much for watching and for listening, and we'll see you back here tomorrow for the final day of the Pinnacle Cup.